After punching out for your 15-minute break from work, you head to the break room with your only dollar bill in hand, ready for that bag of Doritos. Your dollar gets sucked into the machine, and then you enter the numbers. However, instead of receiving the whole bag of Doritos, you get one sad little chip. By now, your break is almost over and you have to go back to work. Because of this experience, next time, you will avoid the vending machine altogether and head across the street to the dollar store to buy your Doritos there. While this is a silly little vending machine story, this concept can be directly applied to the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA for short. While as reported on an August 23rd, 2018 article from the USA Today, NAFTA's main goal was to make trading goods between the US, Canada, and Mexico easier to move across North America. However, according to President Trump, this is the worst trade deal ever, and he believes it is the primary reason why we are losing so many American jobs. Like the vending machine, instead of spending our money internally, we are outsourcing our jobs to other countries or dollar stores. Trying to resolve some of Trump's concerns, the US, Canada, and Mexico entered NAFTA negotiations in late August of 2018, and on Friday, September 28th of 2018, an agreement was finally reached. Because these new negotiations drastically changed the trade agreement that the North American countries have been using for the past 25 years, it's important to consider not only positive and negative implications that these changes may have. So today, let's take a closer look at the 25-year-old North American Free Trade Agreement by first reviewing how NAFTA was created, the changes it's currently facing in Congress as of today, and finally the positive and negative implications that these changes may have. First, how and why NAFTA was created. According to information published by The Balance on October 28, 2018, NAFTA was originally signed into law on December 8, 1993, under the Clinton administration, and facilitated trading laws regarding produce, textiles, and automobiles. As mentioned earlier, the original agreement sought to make trading between the three countries easier. But the major complication of these easier trading policies were tariffs. But what is a tariff? A tariff is a tax imposed by the government on imported and exported goods. Now, NAFTA sought to reduce or waive these tariffs altogether. According to a July 28, 2018 article from The Street, without NAFTA, we would have been subject to trading laws that other countries set, which would in turn cost us the potential to trade with other countries across the globe. The previously mentioned Balance article continues to report that the original agreement outlined 7 primary trading goals, most of which pertain to procedural and organizational instruction. But the 3 major goals of the agreement focused on opening borders, promoting fair competition, and increasing potential investment opportunities. The reason why these 3 goals are specifically important is because NAFTA's main goal was to facilitate the cross-border movement of goods and services, to have continental equality in cost, and to build more professional relationships with our bordering countries. So that's the historical significance surrounding NAFTA and why it was created. But once Trump took office in 2016, he immediately vocalized how flawed he felt the agreement was. According to an October 1st, 2018 article from the New York Times, the major flaws with NAFTA is that it is outdated. It does not take into account modern-day manufacturing costs, and the fact that most of our trade transactions nowadays are being completed electronically. So, to bring NAFTA current, the following 2 agreements were reached during the policy negotiations. First, with the manufacturing costs, and second, with the digitalization of trade. First, when taking the manufacturing or production costs into account, an October 2nd, 2018 article from The Hill reports that negotiations focused on making sure that Mexico and Canada finally agreed to lifting some of the tariffs surrounding the automotive industry. This came after Trump's threat of placing a $360 billion taxation fee on the importation of U.S. automotives. This is a major change, as reported by CNN on October 1st, 2018, and will bring back more jobs to the U.S. in the automotive industry. Regarding the digitalization of trade, An October 2nd, 2018 article from The Hill notes that, or from the BBC reports, that negotiations focused on the progress of the Trans-Pacific Partnership and digital information outlined in it. It made sure that digital goods and information could flow freely between borders, uninhibited by government restrictions that are fundamentally inconsistent with the transnational, open, and decentralized nature of the internet. The previously mentioned New York Times article continues to state that this includes protections for digital information such as patents and even domain names. Along with the new changes was the agreement's new name change from the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, to the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA for short. While Trump did submit this deal to Congress, it is currently waiting approval as of today, and as of today. So, that's the historical significance surrounding NAFTA and why it was created. Now, we must also take a look at both the positive and negative implications that these changes may have. According to information published by The Balance, the new USMCA dramatically benefits U.S. oil companies, causing us as a consumer to have lower gas prices, and will bring back 500 to 750,000 American jobs, which, according to a Financial Times article dated October 1st, 2018, came after several in-depth conversations between President Trump and Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto for securing stricter rules for Mexican car exports. If we look at a new car under this plan, 75% of that car's parts would be made in North America. That then being paired with about 40 to 45% of that car's parts being made by people earning at least $16 an hour. While this is great for automotive manufacturers, it's not so great for automotive buyers like us. According to a Financial Times article dated October 2nd, 2018, economists and auto experts feel that the new USMCA is going to cause car prices in the US to skyrocket and our selection to plummet, especially on cars that are being produced in Mexico that can no longer be brought across the border duty-free anymore. It is unclear how much those prices will rise. Estimates vary. But one thing is for certain: we cannot rely on cheap Mexican labor anymore, and will probably have a higher compliance cost as a result. Tech companies and online shoppers also win big from this new agreement. According to a BBC article dated October 1st, 2018, the new USMCA raises duty-free shopping limits. This is great for companies like Amazon, who've been hit hard with taxation and shipping fees between borders. But as Amazon continues to grow and monopolize the online shopping market, this win for such a large company could cause smaller companies to go bankrupt and end up limiting our online shopping options. We may very well live in a world where Amazon could potentially be our only online shopping option. The new USMCA could potentially have a negative impact globally, particularly though on China. Trump is emboldened on trade, and as a senior administration official said, he believes his strategy is working in a BBC article dated October 2nd, 2018. And if the new USMCA will make it easier for him to impose the tariffs that he is already threatening to impose on China, things will not be getting any better. According to a September 15th, 2018 article from Vox, the U.S.'s relationship with China has been a steady decline since Trump took office in 2016, and it does not look like things will be getting any better. Now, like I said before, if the USMCA will make it easier for him to impose the tariffs he's already threatening to put on China, this could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. I'll be honest, a lot has changed regarding NAFTA since I first drafted my speech in July. So much so that a week before our first tournament, I had to completely re-research the negotiations when Trump, Trudeau, and Nieto met on Friday, September 28th of 2018. But that's the thing about politics. They're constantly changing, and whether or not these changes are good in the long run is yet to be determined. Today we took a closer look at the 25-year-old North American Free Trade Agreement. We first reviewed how NAFTA was created, the changes it is currently facing in Congress as of today, and finally, the positive and negative implications of these changes. While yes, the new USMCA will make it easier for us to purchase are Doritos in the vending machine that is already here, we must ask ourselves, will the quality and the enjoyment of these Doritos end up suffering in the end?